Friday Sports Show. Radio Borders.
6:29, welcome back to the Friday Sports Show. Rugby now. And attention turns to the Premier and National Leagues tomorrow with the start of the 2011-12 season. It's going to be a big season for all clubs concerned, and of course the spotlight very much on the border clubs this year, with a lot at stake come the end of the season. To look ahead to their matches now, I've been joined by Gala coach George Graham and Hawick coach Deke Armstrong. George, I'll come to you first of all. Of course, both of you are in the capital tomorrow, but an away match against Curry, it's going to be a difficult start, a return to Premier 1, but I'm sure that the Gala players will be itching to go up against opposition in Curry that themselves will have a point to prove.
Yeah, obviously when the fixtures came out and we were obviously drawn away to Curry, it was always going to be a big ask, but we've trained very, very well over the pre-season, and I think all the pre-season games that we've taken part in, we've always had that curve that we're getting better and better and better. So yeah, of course it's going to be a hard task to play at Millennium Park against Curry, but we're hoping, I think if you go by history, last season they didn't have a particularly fast start, so I don't know if it'll be the same tomorrow, but my boys are ready to go, and hopefully we can maybe catch one, and if we don't, then we'll see where we are and we'll see what we need to work on.
Reading between the lines, I think you're pretty happy with the way the summer has gone and the strength and depth that you have just at the moment. I'm sure you would want a little bit more, but happy to work with what you have.
No, I think you're right. I think we identified at the end of last season that what we needed to do was get ourselves into First Division, and once we get in there, I agree with you say we need to try and take Gala back into situations where they're challenging for trophies and they're challenging for cups and finals and whatnot. But with that, you need to have a squad. And last season, we had a good bunch of players that we managed to wrap in cotton wool every time they picked up a niggly injury. I would send them in. But this season, yeah, we have recruited, very well. We've got a lot of strength and depth in the backs that we maybe never had as much last season. And competition always breeds a wee bit more urgency in the game, and it brings the best out in players. And that's what I've seen during the season. Consequently, last Tuesday when we had the selection for the game tomorrow, it was incredibly tough. I think it took us about an hour and a half, just to sit down and go through it all, because there's been a lot of people that have trained really hard and have put their hand up and said, well, listen, I think I could be in there. And, we never took any decision lightly, and we made sure we went through every aspect of the guys that we were picking. But, I feel the squad that we've got tomorrow is the right one for this game. Whether it'll be the right one for the game the week after, who knows? We'll wait and see how it goes tomorrow.
All about playing for places, of course. And Deke, I'm sure you would echo those words as well. I mean, last season you finished in that top 8. There was safety. There wasn't any fears of relegation. And that, I would imagine, is the absolute minimum requirement this year. You'll be looking further up the table with aspirations to do a bit better and finish a bit higher up the Premier Division 1 this time round.
That's got to be the first goal, and then after that we want to kick on and maybe get top 4. I mean, it's got to be tough because, as I say, I respect every team in the division, but looking at the way we've trained pre-season and our pre-season games, I can see a bit different in the team. We seem a bit more mature. We've got more leaders coming through, and I'm pretty optimistic for the start of the season.
It is about obviously picking up points on the road, even during the course of a season, losing bonus points and getting 4 tries away from home, while that's when it's a defeat, not the outcome you're looking for. These are important points to collect, and also making your home ground, making Netherdale, making Mansfield Park, making the Greenyards, wherever you happen to play, making that a fortress, a very difficult venue for clubs to come and play.
Well, that's what you're looking for. Mansfield has notoriously been a difficult ground to come and win, but not so the past few years, and we're trying to turn that around. But we have to take confidence going away from him. It should be the same mentality when you're playing away from home as it is from at home, and we're trying to install this in the boys. As I say, there's a lot of boys standing up being leaders now, and I think we're heading in the right direction. And we lost a lot of games last year by the odd point, 2-3 points. We picked up bonus points. We've had a good chat. Are we happy to just get beat and say, oh, well, we played well, but we lost by 2 or 3 points? Now we have to turn the narrow defeats into wins, and I'm sure the boys' mentality is on that focus.
And I guess as well, George, working on your own players' mentality from a team that were obviously gunning for promotion, looking to win a division, to move up a level and to keep the nucleus of those players, but bringing in some experience as well. It's now, as you referred to in your earlier answers, all about getting off to a good start and all about finding your feet and really hitting the ground running, because you don't want to be left behind in what is a very competitive division.
No, I think that's exactly right, Stuart. I think the whole point of is getting that start. I mean, we can pick up points tomorrow, as you said. Deke's already said, it's that confidence aspect of going in the next game. Me and myself, I've just pretty much focused on this game and not really looking ahead to the ones after that, because I think, we have to find out where we are as a squad when we play against, one of the so-called better teams in this league. But, we're obviously in the same situation. We want to be in the running for titles and trophies come, November, when we've played everybody once. That's going to be obviously a big ask for us, because everybody will be in the same boat. And I think the fact that, there's only going to be 2 teams that are going up if we do slip back into the bottom 4. Unlike last season, there was 4 teams that went up at that bottom, that so-called Premier B. There's only going to be 2 teams apparently, so it's going to be a bit of a dogfight, and I would rather not be in that dogfight, but in the other end of the table pushing for, trophies and the cups and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's everything to play for, and tomorrow's huge in the context of we need to be able to, get off to a good start.
And over the course of the season, border derbies, whether it be in the Border League, the Cup, or indeed Premier Division 1, they're going to be as hard fought as ever, because victories are going to be as valuable as ever in these games.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, there's one thing, I'm not a borderer, but there's one thing I have learned, that it doesn't make any difference who you play in the borders. When it is a border derby match, then it brings the best out in everybody, and the form goes out the window, and it's about that inter-town rivalry, and it's just about getting that win against them. So we'll try and play every game as much as we can and get as much as we can out of it. But at the end of the day, we're looking to just solidify our position in the First Division and just stay there, and then, as I say, push on as much as we can for the rest of the season.
And how does a coach spend his summer? Because I would imagine that it would at least be in the back of your mind, as soon as you were confirmed as a Premier 1 side, you'd look at the squad and there'd be the expectancy that some players, for one reason or another, may well move on or retire, and you would need to strengthen. So I can imagine it's been a busy few months for the two of you.
Certainly for me, it has been. Yeah, we were aware of the people that were leaving and that were, obviously retiring. But we obviously knew about what they were happening, and we obviously knew about the guys where we needed to strengthen. We had obviously brought in a couple of guys by the end of the season that we needed to make sure that we had people in place. And we got a lot of people in place before the end of the season finished. They had committed to us for this season. But as it went on over the months, we just kept making phone calls, speaking to players. We had a load of guys that were very keen to come, but I think it's that loyalty towards their own clubs that hindered them coming, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But we did manage to get a few good boys that have turned up for Gala, which is strengthened us, which obviously what I've been looking for the whole season. So our backline, we can pretty much put out 2 good backlines that I'll be comfortable with. So as I said, I've picked one tomorrow that I feel is the best one for this particular game. Whether it becomes the best one for next week, that remains to be seen, and that'll be, we'll find out tomorrow.
And Deke, I know that I think there's 5 players left the club, 6 that you brought in during the course of the summer. Are you aware of perhaps 1 or 2 that could be included during the course of the season?
We're still looking, and we're still hopeful that we've got another couple of backs and maybe a middle row coming in. We've got Neil Rennick coming back from Australia the end of September. We've brought in a guy that played with me and George at Gala Rugby League, an older guy, Tani, Kiwi boy. We've just brought him in purely to help the young boys on defence and attack, and he's speaking to them. He's been really good since he came. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of boys to Gala, and Gary Lowry is a really good player, but I think the unfortunate thing is the border clubs are cutting each other's throats now, getting players off each other, and that's the way it is. That's the way rugby's went, and we do it as well to other teams, other border clubs, and it's just unfortunate that we're having to poach other border teams, and it's not the best way to go about it, because as George says, there is loyalty and thing, But that's the way rugby is, and if you don't, you'll get left behind.
And of course there's the strength and depth with YM, who are making a real fist of it in their own right as well. So perhaps that in seasons gone by it might have been easier to then take players from the YM and play them in the first team. That may now pose more of a problem given the success that they've had and the commitment the players have to the club.
It does, but not really. I mean, the YM, they've been pretty good. Everybody says, the YM and Hawick don't get on, but it's not like that at all. Me and Jamie, the coach, and Doug Waldy, the team manager, we've got a good communication, and two boys have moved up that's playing tomorrow, Deke Armstrong at stand-off and Neil McComb. And the YM's more than happy to give us players. The players have got to be happy to come, though. If they're not ready to step up or don't want to step up, that's up to the player, and that's fine. I have no qualms with that. But Jamie and Doug have been really helpful, as have been the YM, contrary to what people think, and they're quite willing for players to come up. That's their goal at the end of the day, although they're moving up the leagues and want to win. And I'm a YM man myself, but their main aim is to produce players for Hawick, and Jamie's already said that.
On the eve of the start of the Premier and National League season, I would imagine the two of you won't be concerned with, at this stage at least, won't be concerned with how next season's league structures will shape up. Your main objectives will be to go to the capital tomorrow, to go to Edinburgh and pick up points to start your league season, both hoping to obviously get a winning start under your belts, and then with home matches to come, that gives you a cushion and a springboard to build on. Deke, I'll take you first.
Yeah, obviously you can't look at it as far away as next year. Obviously the league is getting restructured, and I think in time it will go down to an 8-team Premier League. I think that's the way they're heading. But you can't look too far ahead, as George has already said. You can only look to tomorrow and see what it brings, see where you're at, see where your pre-season's brought, see how the guys have developed, and then you have to go back to training on Tuesday and work on what you think's weakness has been. Obviously, the positives will be there, and you have to build on that as well, and you take it week in, week out. It's 11, as we found out last year, it's 11 weeks of pressure rugby, and it is pressure rugby, and you have to get your wins on the board to get up into that top 8, and it's really tough. As I said, I respect every team that's in it. They're all well coached, they're all well drilled, and every game's tough no matter who you play. So you've only got to take one game at a time. We're just focusing on Harris, and as I say, it'd be great to get a win just to give us the confidence to take into next week, but we're not looking too far ahead.
And George, finally, I mean, the Border League, the Cup, they're great competitions in their own right, but the league is very much the bread and butter. And tomorrow, as you say, away to Curry, it's a test of just how far Gala have come just at this stage in your reign as coach, and at the stage the club are at just at the moment.
Yeah, very much. I mean, obviously, I would echo what Deke is saying. I mean, the next year obviously is nothing I have even contemplated thinking about. I mean, we're obviously trying to get involved in the upper end of the first division after this 11 game split. But I agree with you. We need to be up there. We need to be challenging. And the way things are going, Deke said that as well about the way the coaches are going and every game's going. We're pretty much, we've had a look at the season. We've had a look at how it's structured, what games are there. Obviously every coach will be obviously targeting all their home games. I think you have to try and target winning every one of your home games and try and picking up one or two away from home to keep you in the hunt. If you start losing your home games, then I think you're obviously in a slippy wicket, to be honest with you. We need to try and make our own clubhouse a bit of a fortress. It's an old cliche, but it's one of these things that I pretty much stand by, and I think we managed to do that last season. I think out of all the games we played, we only lost 3 games, and they were against Melrose, Stirling County, and Accies and Stirling County. I think the combined points was 3 points that we lost the game. So they were very, very hard fought games, but we hope to continue that vein of making it hard to come to Gala. If you want to come to Gala, you need to bring your A game, because it will be a tough team to beat at home. But consequently, when we play away, we have to put pressure on teams, because they'll have the same mentality as we have, that they're going to try and win their home games. And for anybody to try and step over somebody or get one over somebody, then you have to try and break that sort of a trend that teams want to win at home. But Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm really excited with tomorrow. This is a culmination of 2 years' work for a lot of the players and myself here, and I'm really excited. It's a massive day for us tomorrow. There's a lot of players, but a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, especially the people behind the scenes to get Gala back into First Division. And this is where you'll find out where you are. This is a lot of these players will say, well, am I good enough to play in the First Division, or I should have been here, or we wasted a lot of time because we should have been here. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to speak to my players after the game and gauge where they're at. So it'll be really, really interesting, and as I say, it'll be, well, I just say there won't be much sleeping done tonight for me, that's for sure.
Thanks very much to Deke Armstrong, Hawick coach, and Gala's George Graham.
The Friday Sports Show. Radio